and cyber attacks must be reported, yet the IG found no evidence that the secretary or her staff ever reported any of those incidents to computer security personnel or anyone else within the department. Podesta, the liar, said she believed she was following practices of other secretaries and senior officials. Oh, Colin Powell, oh, he did have a private email. He did. Not a private server. Huge difference. Technology guidelines, by the time she got in office, were more detailed and far more sophisticated, according to the Inspector General, and specifically discussed, quote, the obligation to use the department systems in most circumstances. So she lied there too, as Podesta lied. Podesta said she'd taken unprecedented steps to ensure public access to her emails, providing the department with all of her work-related emails totaling 55,000 pages and calling for their release. Oh, okay. Here's the problem. The Inspector General pointed out the production of emails was incomplete. And that doesn't even include the 30,000 emails she deleted that she told us were only about yoga, a wedding, a funeral, and conversations with Bill, who doesn't use email. That's not been a good week for her. So all of these lies, that she was in a position of authority to get the full information of her emails out, that's not what the Inspector General contradicted that. She wouldn't, and her aides wouldn't speak with investigators of the State Department's Office of Inspector General, but Colin Powell did, and Condoleezza Rice did, and everyone else participated, not Hillary, while they were preparing their report. So she didn't participate at all. So you got this email server scandal. It's already being investigated by James Comey and the FBI, and now it's impacting the race. Catherine Herridge, my colleague at Fox, and Pam Brown over at Fox report the State Department Inspector General report increases, quote, the likelihood and the pressure for the Justice Department to pursue criminal charges, according to an intelligence source familiar with the FBI investigation. It's very harmful to her and increases the likelihood and the pressure the Department of Justice to indict. I'm pretty convinced the FBI is going to find criminal wrongdoing. I'm pretty convinced, based on comments of people like Rudy Giuliani and Chris Christie and people that know James Comey, and based on James Comey's conduct, appointed by then-President George W. Bush, and threatened to resign over an issue involving, information and stuff with Senator Ashcroft. He actually raced over to his hospital room when Alberto Gonzalez was going there to beat him. It was ridiculous. The level of detail. So anyway, it's as we know it now, the FBI probe is investigating the email practices. They're focused on whether more than 2,100 classified emails discovered on her server constitute a violation of federal code, especially and specifically the Espionage Act, 18 U.S. Code 793, known as gross negligence statute. In other words, was this treated with gross negligence? Of course it was, because she was trying to do this to avoid and escape congressional oversight. It's beyond dispute that gross negligence statute has been violated, just on what we know publicly, what we learned from the other Inspector General about special access programs on her server. Do you know what that's a higher classification, more sensitive classification than top secret? So it's, based on just what is known publicly, we know the gross negligence statute has been violated, to say nothing of what the FBI maybe discovered in their investigation, which means that if James Comey, the director of the FBI overseeing the investigation, does what the law would apply to you and me, he's going to recommend a criminal referral, an indictment of the former First Lady, Secretary of State. And I've got to wonder, and this is just speculation on my part, I wonder if that's why Doug Schoen, he might have a contact. And he's saying it may be very likely Hillary's not going to be the nominee. Anyway, if Comey does, in fact, recommend the indictment, and the Justice Department refuses to act on it, I would predict to you that James Comey will resign, and that this scandal will now take over the entire campaign, even beyond what it has already done. This is the FBI primary, and probably the most important primary of this political season. Anyway, so that's what we have on that. Pay attention to these things. But another poll shows California slipping away from Hillary. It's now 48-46. 20,000 people have signed up for Occupy DNC